Good morning. My name is Jeffrey Nebeker, your current student body president, and I've been asked to be the Master of Ceremonies for the following memorial services. Good morning, and welcome to the Liberty High School production of Shattered Dreams, a program designed to educate students, parents, and the community about the serious issue of underage drinking and driving. With Liberty's prom coming soon, the message of this program couldn't be any timelier. Our first speaker is Dr. Mark Gamber. Dr. Gamber was raised in Arlington, Texas. He received undergraduate degrees from Texas A&M University. He attended medical school at the University of North Texas Health Science Center in Fort Worth. He completed an emergency medicine residency at Texas A&M Scott White Hospital. He became board certified in emergency medicine in 2006 and emergency medical services in 2013. Dr. Gamber has worked at the Medical Center of Plano, a level 2 trauma center and comprehensive stroke center since 2005. He became the EMS Medical Director for Plano Fire Rescue in 2007 and the Murphy Fire Department in 2009. Dr. Gamber, his wife Lauren, and children Ella, Lily, and Charlie have been residents of Frisco since 2005. Thus, it was with great pride that he became the EMS Medical Director for the Frisco Fire Department in July 2014.
Thank you very much for having me. That was an amazing video. I've had the opportunity to speak at these for a few years, and the folks who put that work together, that was absolutely fantastic. And I think it really tells the story much better than I can. But I'd like to share some experiences that I've had with you in the last few years. I'm the EMS Medical Director for the Fire Department and an emergency physician at the now Level 1 Trauma Center for Collin County. So unfortunately, if you're involved in an alcohol-related wreck, I'm probably going to be helping take care of you. And I wanted to speak to about 15 years of experience in what I've seen and share that with you, not only for the students in here, but for the parents too, because I'm a parent of 3 students in this district. Trauma is the #1 cause of death in your age group as teenagers, and it's specifically motor vehicle accidents that's going to kill you. Texas leads the nation in fatal teen car accidents. Half of those teen car accidents are alcohol related. If you survive that car accident, the average cost of defending a DWI is about $17,000 for you and your family. And the other thing I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up, because I'm seeing it more in the emergency department, is distracted driving. While the data is early, we find that is just as dangerous as drinking and driving, and the combination of drinking and having your phone out is just incredibly lethal. So I'm here to talk to you today about making the choice not to drink. I'm here to talk to you today about making the choice absolutely not to drink and drive, to keep that phone down, and to help you live a long, happy life, because there's so much promise in this room. That's what I want to speak to today. I'm going to give some examples of things I've seen over the years, and I hope these stick with you, throughout not only the rest of your time here in high school, but as you go to college. Here's what will happen if you are in a car wreck. I thought this video was very accurate. When you're in that wreck, somebody will call 911. We'll come, and the fire department, the paramedics will come, and they'll do everything they can to help you. We'll have to cut your clothes off in a public place so that we can survey your body for damage. It's difficult to start an IV in the dark on the side of the road. So we have a drill that we use, and we drill a needle into your bone for IV access. As you can imagine, some of these things are pretty uncomfortable. We're going to give you pain medicine and sedation through that IV. We'll put splints on things that are broken. If you have a collapsed lung, we'll put a hole in your chest and put a tube in it to inflate the lung. We'll put a tube in your throat to breathe for you, and we'll take you to the trauma center. There'll be a team of doctors and nurses there that'll do everything they can to help you and keep you comfortable. We're pretty good at saving people, but not everybody survives, as you saw in this video. And that's where I want to stop and speak slowly and get you to think for a minute. If you don't survive, it's not just you. You saw the conversation that emergency physician was having with the family. And that's the longest walk I ever take, is the walk to the family room. The family room is my least favorite place in the hospital because there's terrified parents and they're waiting to find out what happened to their child. And the hardest thing to do is get down on a knee and tell a parent that they've lost their child. Imagine the investment of love and time for 18 years that just ended right there. And you guys make so many good choices. Don't let it end by just one bad choice. Please be careful. I never want to have this conversation again with any parents. So a couple things to think about, just a couple patient examples that are a little bit graphic, that are very real. I took care of a teenager who chose to drink and drive, sped, drove into a tree. The dashboard collapsed on their legs, broke about every bone in their legs and their feet. It took 90 minutes to get the car off of this teenager. 90 minutes of screaming while you're trying to get the dash off of a teenager with broken legs. Took care of another young man, a teenager who chose to drink and drive his motorcycle, laid the motorcycle down, slid, hit a pylon, and it sheared his leg off. I took care of a teenager who chose to drink and drive, had his best friend in the passenger seat, got in a race, sped, lost control, hit a tree. He was badly injured and killed his best friend. It took him a year to recover. He comes back to our emergency department now and brings us lunch once a year to remember his friend. Tried to take care of a family that was exiting church in a minivan. They were hit by a teenager who chose to drink and drive, and we couldn't save any of them. He killed the entire family pulling out of church in a minivan. So it doesn't just affect you, it affects our community. And I've talked about life and death here, but there's an in-between, and that's traumatic brain injury. The nursing homes that you drive by in Frisco aren't just older patients. There's young patients, there's 18-year-olds in there, and they have traumatic brain injuries from trauma, and they have catheters in place. And I see them for the trauma, and then I see them repeatedly in the emergency department for infections and urinary tract infections and ulcers, and they die young. I'm giving you these graphic examples because I don't want this to be you. So please heed this. I want to end with something upbeat. I'm saying these things because you have so much promise. I'm saying these things as a parent, and I'm saying these things because I want you to go on and have a wonderful life. Thank you for having me.
Good morning. My name is Creech. I have the privilege of serving as the chaplain for the Fire and Police Department here in Frisco. My role is to support the unique spiritual and emotional needs that the men and women that serve these departments here experience on a daily basis. A lot of times I'll be having conversations through a ride out or some other environment that I'm in with these men and women, and they'll tell me about a particular thing they've experienced with a motor vehicle accident or a domestic dispute or something else that's going on. And my question is often, so do you think drugs or alcohol were involved in this event with these individuals? And they look at me like, Chaplain, of course, almost always. And their next statement is, for us it's job security. For everybody else it's kind of sad that so much trauma and so much damage, emotional and physical, comes from the abuse of alcohol and drugs. Some of you maybe have seen in history class, it's a little bit of an older movie now, it's called Gladiator. And one of the scenes from this movie where Gladiator Maximus says to his troops, what we do in this life echoes in eternity. And I think Dr. Gamber touched on the impact not only on the individuals that suffer the effects of drinking and driving, but their families for decades to come. What you do in this life does echo for decades and even in eternity. I experienced this when I was a young boy in the 3rd grade. I remember one Sunday morning the phone rang, and in those days it was attached to the wall. And there were no private conversations because you couldn't go anywhere with the phone, so everybody hears every conversation. And I remember my dad gave me that look because I'm probably running around being crazy like normal, and he gave me that look of, stop it now. And as soon as he got off of the phone, he informed us that 3 members of our family had been killed the night before when they were coming home from a birthday celebration. A man had run a stop sign, he was intoxicated, plowed into our family members, and they were all badly deceased at the scene. What that man did still echoes 5 decades later. Small decision. I still remember the grainy photos from the newspaper article that we eventually received from a family member, because this accident took place in another state. And just as a young kid looking at that, and the cars looked like somebody had set off an IED inside of them. There was stuff everywhere. And I asked myself, even as a young boy, why do people make decisions that have such an impact on so many other people? Some of you have been distracted, or some of you have been impacted by the lives of others who have made destructive choices. As a freshman in college, I was confronted with something that made me think and brought an answer to help me understand why people do what they do. I was told of a French physicist and philosopher named Pascal, who said, there is a God-shaped vacuum in the heart of every man that can only be filled with himself. The man that killed 3 members of my family, I have to believe, was attempting to fill something. That allows me to have a little compassion on him, even though I never knew him. What was he after? He was attempting to fill a place in his life that he felt like only something from a bottle could fill. We're all engaged in that. I have to think about my own choices. A lot of those are rooted in something much deeper than what seems like it's going on at the moment. We're all challenged to try to fill a place in our life with something that will never fill that particular place. It's not shaped for that. It's great to hear all the encouragement. Don't drink and drive. Don't do drugs. Just say no. And that has an impact for a while. You see the video. And it's important that you allow this to impact your life. But it's something way bigger than that. Whether you're planning for prom, you're planning for graduation. What is this all about? Is there something more important than just saying no to alcohol and drugs? And the answer is, yeah, it's even way bigger than that. It's way bigger than that. So I want you to think this morning, what Dr. Gamber said, and even as I'm speaking, that you look a little bit past just today. And the decisions you make will echo in eternity. It's hard to see that at 17 or 18. It's very difficult. You can talk to your parents. They have stories just like mine. Sometimes you don't want to hear them. So what are you going to do with it? What is it that you're trying to fill and put in your life? Whether it's the approval of your friends, whether it's depression, whatever it's going through, what is it that you're trying to put into that place that just won't satisfy those needs? And what you do this year, next year, and years to come will echo for eternity, just like the gentleman who took the life of 3 family members of mine. He had no idea what he would do in one short moment of his life and how it would affect my life and the life of so many others that had to grieve the loss of 3 family members. Thanks for the privilege of speaking to you this morning.
Somewhere far from nowhere,
Throughout the day yesterday, the Grim Reaper entered a classroom every 15 minutes and selected a student victim, who then became part of a group known as the Living Dead. When Shattered Dreams first originated in the mid-1990s, the 15-minute time period represented how often someone was killed in an alcohol-related accident. As each student was pulled from class, a police officer read the student's obituary that was written by their parents. At the end of the school day, the Living Dead, crash victims, and drunk driver were taken on an overnight retreat. The retreat was filled with many activities, including the writing of goodbye letters to the students' family and friends. Each student wrote a letter about what they would want to say to their loved ones had they actually been killed in an alcohol-related accident. 3 of the students are going to share their letters this morning. Spencer Nayar, Isabel Apodaca, and Deepti Aravapalli will each read their letters.
Good morning. This is a letter that I wrote to my dad. Dad, I always felt that you worried too much, but maybe you were right. I can't even count the number of times I promised that I would never drink and drive. And I told you not to worry. I know all about that stuff. Plus, I can hold my liquor, so it really doesn't even matter. So I said, and so I thought. And now I realize that I might have been wrong. Imagine that. I actually admitted I was wrong. I know you've been waiting quite a while for that, but I also know you'd never have hoped for these circumstances. You have always been my best friend, and I'm sorry that I lied. I thought I could get home alone. I really didn't even need to worry you. You always seemed so tired, and I thought I could do you a favor, but I ended up making things so much worse. I love you, Dad. I'm sorry for all the pain I've caused, over every lesson and my resilience to the things you try and teach me. It's weird to think that we will never get to play again, throw a ball, or just roughhouse around the house, never watch another old movie marathon, or cheer when the girls leave the house. I love you, Dad, and I'm sorry this is the last time I can ever say it.
Morning. This is a letter that I wrote to my family. I know it's something that you never thought would happen to me. I know you guys are asking God why, but through all of the pain you are feeling right now, I want you to know that I love you. Times may have not been the easiest for us. We fought and we have said cruel things that we don't mean. My biggest regret is ever fighting with any of you, and I'm sorry for ever hurting you. Although I am apologizing, I want to thank you guys for sacrificing so much for me. No matter what we went through, you were always on my side. When I felt like I had nobody, your hugs kept me warm. And with everything I put you through, you guys loved me no less. Mama, thank you for being the most loving and caring woman I have ever met. Thank you for the never-ending laughs, and thank you for always reminding me to be good, be smart, and make good decisions. I'm sorry that the driver that killed me didn't choose to do so. I want you to know that I will watch over you every time you leave and still tell you to be careful and that I love you. Dad, thank you for being so protective of me and teaching me that it's okay to make mistakes. Thank you for teaching me to know how to fish and always taking a picture of every fish that I caught. You always made me feel good about myself, and I'll be watching every cast you make and explore new fishing grounds with you from up above, and I promise to keep you safe. Kelly, my baby sister, you are my favorite person. I'm so sorry I won't be there to see you get your first car or your license, and I'm sorry I won't be there for future heartbreaks and sad times. I know I was your shoulder to cry on, and I'm sorry I can't be anymore. I want you to always know how smart and beautiful you are and how much you are worth. You are known to get stressed, but please stay strong for me, and don't ever give up on yourself. It was such an honor to be your big sister, little one. I love you so much. Thank you for the laughs and the memories. I will never forget them, and I hope you don't either. To all of you, I love you, and I can't wait to see you guys later. Love, Isabel.
Hi guys, my name's Deepti, and I wasn't really feeling prose last night, so I ended up writing 2 poems. The first one that I'm going to share with you is to my family. Amma, I promise it's not what you think. My blood's on the pavement, but I swear I didn't drink. I was driving to school, Nana, just like you said, to fill space with knowledge, to grow, but instead, I'm here all alone, Arthi. You're not by my side. Promise me you'll grow up strong, though I can't be your guide. If only I'd known the end that I'd face, I'd have gone about life at quite a different pace. All that time I spent prepping for a future no more could have better been spent with those I adore. All the feelings, words, and thoughts that I kept locked away, I would have put out in the open, unafraid of saying what I have to say. I wish I had time to make true the dreams that I dreamt, to keep promises made, to reach goals that I'd set. But all that is gone now. All that's left is a street and the memories of the people that I had the pleasure to meet. So within these memories, for they are a powerful thing, there is a truth I must leave you with, and I hope that it rings. No one deserves a pavement for a pillow as they drift off into eternal sleep. So promise me you won't mix drinking and driving. Promise me it's a promise that you'll keep. The second poem is kind of unconventional, and we were supposed to write poems to loved ones, but I decided to write one to the person that killed me in a drunk driving accident. To my murderer, yes, that's really what you are. You should have thought a minute before climbing intoxicated into that car. You have no idea, do you, about the life I had ahead of me? Well, now I'm just as clueless, because from that future, I'm free. Did you realize what could happen, though you'll write it off as a mistake? Did you know that when you drive, there are lives, loves, and dreams at stake? You've robbed me of my sister, my mom, my dad, my puppy. You robbed me of my career, and of them you robbed of me. Lives and lives are broken, though mine's the only one gone. The universe that I lived in has undoubtedly been shaken. I hope that drink was worth it. Oh wait, it probably was a few, because all the carnage of my life and loves I owe to none other than you.
Our next guest speaker is Miss Ashley Rainwater, principal here at Liberty High School.
I'm short, right?
I was told.
I want to start off by thanking everyone involved in this, from our broadcast team that did a wonderful job with the video, Candy Stevens, Officer Hubbard, our orchestra, our choir, all of you involved, thank you. And to the parents and the community members that took part and assisted us in this, I want to thank you as well. It means a lot that you let us use our students to help create this reenactment. Before we go on to class, I just want to talk to you a little bit about what lies ahead. We can all talk as adults that are here. We can tell you about the stories we've lived through. One of the things that we do as parents or principals or administrators or teachers is we try to prepare you for what you're going to face in the future. We're going to try to prepare you for life. It's why we have fire drills and tornado drills, and every other thing we do is try to prepare you. So what I want y'all to think about when you leave here is what are you going to do? You know, we have prom coming up, we have graduation coming up. Many of you are going off to college, off to jobs, on trips. You're making these huge lifelong decisions where you're leaving the nest and you're moving on. We want you to go today and really spend some time thinking about what do you do when you're in that position. When you're on a date with someone that's too drunk to drive, what do you do? When you're at a party and you know you can't get yourself home, or the group that you came with you can't get home with. The best way to prevent something like this for you is to have a plan. Whether it's a friend, whether it's Uber, whether it's Lyft, whatever your plan is, the best option is to know what you're going to do before you get into that situation. I highly encourage you to talk about it with your friends. I highly encourage you to talk about it with your parents. As a parent of a daughter who's going to be a senior next year at school, we've had that conversation. What do you do when you get in that position? Because unfortunately, in my 25 years in education, I have been to many of these memorial services that are real, where kids didn't know what to do in that situation. So I want y'all to have fun, I want you to experience the world, but I want y'all to be educated on what are your choices. We all talk about what the effects are. You know the effects of drinking and driving. The question is, what do you do to keep yourself from being a statistic? Again, I thank everyone for participating. Y'all did a wonderful job. For those of y'all that are moving on to college, to prom, to graduation, we have a lot ahead of us. So thank you, everyone, and y'all have a wonderful day.